in different learning areas. So I would love us to welcome Janice. Thank you so much. Janice, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Magdalene. So let me start by, have you ever thought what goes inside a child's mind when they play? You can continue through the chat when responding to that question. Just 2 minutes. Have you ever thought what goes inside a child's mind while they play? And if yes, what did you think about? Okay, how will I win a game? Yeah, true. That's also a good one. And they just think of enjoying the game. True. So mostly when okay, what we see mostly is that children have the power to imagine, especially when playing either with a friend or maybe alone. So you can have one of the games that you used to play when you are just little. So most of the game when they used to play it, it came from basically having like the imagination, like how they need their house to be like, you know. Yeah, they mostly think of a solution to win the game. True, they get lost into there of just having fun. True, also that's okay. So what comes to your mind as a parent, as a teacher, or maybe someone who is more into kids, when you say play and learn, what actually comes into your mind? From play, using games to learn. Exactly. So they're all okay. So when you say play and learn, mostly what you mean is play-based learning is not just fun. It's a powerful education. It's a powerful education approach that promotes creativity, learning, problem-solving skills, and a deep understanding of a concept. I would say mostly like don't think like playful learning is just fun and games or activity, but as an attitude of engaging with the world, where the kids engage with the world, to not only the kid, also as grown up. So we engage with the world to experiment, test boundaries, or even try out new things, taking the risk of trying something. So through this, the kids or anyone as adults were able to spark the curiosity within. So play is seen as a natural form of learning where children use their creativity, imagination, and problem solving. That's true. Then when they continue, through play, the children are able to experiment, they're able to collaborate with other people, they share their broad ideas together and even actually take the risk of creating what they have in their imaginations. So there are different types of play, like playing with toys, playing with ideas. But for teachers to go ahead with kids, we just need to think in a play that will be promote creative learning. So one of these is through, we can use Scratch as a tool that will be able to promote an interactive and engaging experience through hands-on experience and through their project-based part. So I just want us to go through creating a game together. So I would prefer you can unmute in this section. You be my student, I be your teacher. Let me go with the literacy part of it. You see your students, they're struggling to distinguish between adverbs and adjectives during the class after you have already taught the lesson. So we have adverb is a word that is used to describe verbs, and adjectives, they are words that used to modify nouns. So at this juncture, I think we can now start. I'll share my screen. We create a game. As I share my screen, can you please kindly brainstorm on idea that you're going to come up with. So come up with an idea, we brainstorm together and create an animation. So it's just a guide through of how a teacher can come up with a game or an animation when solving our distinguishing between adverbs and adjectives.
You share that there are two comments in the chat. Just want to take us back a little bit as you bring your screen back. So Mutuma was referring to play as an act where one enjoy and the other one learn, while Rajab is saying play is seen as a natural form of learning where children children through their activity, imagination, and problem-solving skills. So yeah, all those are just reinforcing what you are explaining on what play could potentially mean for different other people.
Thank you for that. And started our Scratch account together with our kids. What kind of characters do you think we can go with? What do you think we need in our game? Yeah, you can share your answers through the chat. Yes. Oh, you have a background, you have a walking bear, a background. What about a game where the students are asked about examples of adverbs or adjectives? We can have two boxes, one for adjectives, other for adverbs, true. Okay. So yeah, so let me go. So what do you think we need? So there are several answers that have been given. So what kind? Let me go with, let me choose one. So we can have two boxes, one for adjectives and other for adverbs. So what kind of boxes should we include? Okay, let me start with the boxes part of it. Actually, have no sprite called a box, but since we don't have one sprite, we can actually create our sprite from the paint part of it, and we create a box. We say one for adjectives and one for
Yes. And Janice,
adjectives.
as you find the boxes here, there are two comments again coming straight from the comments. One from Brian Mutuma saying that we can have two boxes, one for adjectives and another one for adverb.
Okay.
As one of the way to do the game. Then Mona Madrian is saying that how about a snake game?
They actually took some good ideas. So let me start with the, okay, sorry for that. So to create the game, we go to paint and we need two boxes, one for adjectives. That's the first one. Then we create the second one for adverbs. So we can press them. So we now have our two boxes. So okay, a minute. Okay, so we now have our two boxes. With our two boxes, where should our game take place? Where should our two boxes be?
Brahmtuma says, use rectangle to draw the boxes.
Thank you. So, okay. So let me use the rectangles to draw the boxes. So yellow represent the adjectives of adverbs. Uh-huh. And green to represent, if I'm not wrong, right? To represent adjectives, I mean. So we now have adjectives and adverbs in our chart.
So
In our stage.
sorry, Janice. Frederick says, kindly let us have the code so that those joining late can get to know what we have
Okay.
done.
Thank you, Frederick. At the moment, you don't have a call. You are just creating a background and a stage through and characters for our game. We are creating a game based on a scenario where teacher. I'm the teacher, and I've realized that most of my students they are struggling to distinguish between adverbs and adjectives. As we know, adverbs is a word used to modify the verb. A verb is a doing word, and adjective is a word used to modify the noun. And noun is a name of a place, a person. Yes. So you're now creating the stage and characters on how we want the game to look like. So we have the characters where green represent adjectives and yellow represent adverbs. Now we have our, okay, what will the main objective of our game be? Then font the color to be black. Noted. Thank you, thank you. So we can now add the text to her to adverb for yellow, and it should be black. Adjective. Okay, we now have our characters and then a background of white background. So what will the main objective of our game be? We know, yes. Now let's have different words. Some as adverbs, some as adjectives. Yeah, actually you can now give me the words kindly.
Run,
Run is
verb. I don't know, verb.
we need
Quickly.
words to describe adjective and adverb. Quickly as a thank you.
Adverb.
Quickly. So it just goes and below her slowly. Okay. Due to time, I think we can go with two adverbs and two adjectives. So
Hand-
I need,
Handsome.
okay.
Maxwell says loudly. Adverb, loudly. Timwana says beautiful.
Beautiful is a
Adjective.
okay. Beautiful. So yeah, we can now go with two adjectives and two adverbs. Now, what's the main objective of our game? We now have the characters, we have the stage. Above the stage, you as a student, when you see that stage, what comes to your mind? Should we change the stage to be something more appealing? Should it be more plain? What do you think about that? Should be plain. Okay, we can go with white then, since white is plain. So we now need to have the main objective of our game. We have the characters, we have as handsome, beautiful as adjective, we have adverb as quickly, slowly as adverbs. What do you want us to do with the game, the main goal for our game? What will happen within the game? Uh, we started from having two boxes. From the two boxes, we have adjectives and adverbs, and the adverbs we choose characters to represent adjectives and characters to represent adverbs. And now what when I give out this game to, we are now in the initial stages of making this game of the animation. What do we think we are supposed, what's the goal? The goal is the learner should drag those words to boxes. If it's correct, it gets inside. If not correct, it runs to respective places. Okay, thank you for that. So at least we now have the goal of what you want our game to do. So what else can you add to make our characters all background and chatting? So far you have said plain is okay. You have added colors to it, and you have. Do we need to add something else to those words representing adjective and adverb? You can unmute or just type on chat. Okay. It seems like we can please randomize the word's location. Thank you for that. So before we go to randomize, first we need to make our words draggable. How do you think we can do that? Our words, we are going with, let me randomize them at the moment. As we are thinking on how we can make the words to be draggable to the specific box. In sensing category code. Okay, now let's go to code then. Okay, code and sensing activities true. So Brian, tell me about the sensing category. What do you imagine or what do you think when you say sensing category? You can unmute yourself. The learner can drag the word to the correct selection and counts calls. That's amazing. So that's what we want to do. We need now to, how do we do it using the code? Which code should I use? Which part of the code can I start with?
Janice,
Hello.
Tim was saying the learner can drag the word to the correct selection and count scores.
Oh, thank you, Timona. We now need for the learner to drag it. How can we do it so that it's more easy for the learner to drag that one, and when it's gets to the exact place, it's read counts. Yeah.
Okay, first we start with an event proc.
Okay.
We choose when the green flag is clicked.
Yes.
Next, let's go to the motion category.
Motion.
Then the respective position, you can drag the go to X, then your Y.
Okay. Okay. We start with which word? Slowly. Okay. Slowly.
Yeah, even slowly it's okay.
Okay, so for slow, you should go to which position? This one, there are random position actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now from there, let's go to sensing category.
Okay.
Then choose there is somewhere set drag mode draggable. Yeah, that.
Uh-huh.
Now we can do the same for the other ones. First, we can add the 3 blocks to the other
Okay.
ones. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just copy and paste to the others. A minute. Let me- I'm just copying the call to the other names representing each. So when you go too quickly, it read exactly the same code that you have already started with, but from this one. Okay. Now we have our words as draggable and they're at random position, right? So with that, we can now, how do we ensure that they go when it's draggable to the exact position? Uh, how can you check if the word is placed in the correct box?
Okay. On the control category,
Uh-huh. Yeah, we can all help Brian coming up with the idea. The idea is still coming up well. So, Brian, if you're communicating, you're muted. If you're talking, you're muted. Oh, we can't hear you actually.
I said you go on the control category.
Yes, I'm on control.
I can't see your screen. Oh yeah, I can see now. Then choose if then else.
Mm-hmm.
Then let go on the sensing category. Choose the first option. You press
This
it.
one.
Yeah. Then now there select in that box. Yeah. Select. Which one are we working on?
You're working on quickly.
Quickly, which is an adjective.
It's an adverb.
Adverb. Okay. Now choose sprite 2. Yeah. Then on the motion. First, you can drag that one to its respective box so that we can choose the location, the initial location.
Okay.
Yeah. Place it inside the adverb. Okay. And now please, yeah.
Okay.
Then else grind. Choose grind. Grind for 1 second. The other one. Not this. Yeah.
Glide 1 second to that position.
Kwa sababu tulitumia random on the first, we can just choose the random one, grade to a random position.
Okay.
Else, yeah, we can try if it's working.
Okay, we can try it. So, then, okay, let me start it. Is it working? Is it going to and we are working on that quickly at the moment?
Yeah, try pressing it in the adjectives. We see if it's inside the box in the green area.
Okay.
So Mike is asking, why should we have all the codes similar for all the sprites?
Okay, so at least now we can see that our adjective, thank you, Brian, it's now moves to, they move to a random position and they also glide to exactly where you want it to be. So till we move it to, when we move it to adjective, what should it do when you place it to an incorrect position? And before we answer that one, uh, why should we have all the code similar for all the sprites? That's a good question. Why should we have the codes? Why was I copying it exactly to all the point? What? Okay, at first, each the sprites, we need them to be in different position, and we also need them to be draggable for each of the words. I hope it answers your question, Mike. Okay, so what happens if it goes to we are now working with the first one, which is quickly, and we also need the rest to be the same, but in the position will now differ, so the code is still the same. Oh, thank you, Hussein. So having similar code structure for all spreads in a Scratch project can offer several significant advantages, especially in terms of maintainability, consistent debugging, a collaboration and educational value. Thank you. True. So let's continue with our code. So we now, what should happen if a word is placed correctly uh, in the proper under each box? All, yeah. What should happen if it's placed correctly? So at the moment,
I,
they are all, yeah.
I only comment some changes
Uh-huh.
on on the second block, which is go to a random position.
Uh-huh.
First, we can randomize the ones, then we give a specific random position instead of the ones randomizing themselves.
Okay. Thank you. So how do we go about it?
Yeah. Do away with the second block, which is go to a random position. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Now we can randomize the ones first now. Let's randomize the ones, okay. And we can add some in a far place.
Okay. We can have,
Yeah, do away with that, yeah.
okay. Uh-huh. They're not random positions.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
where there was a go to a random position, replace it now with a specific random position that you've done. That is, drag then go to, yeah, same to the below the green flag. We have go to,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Here.
No, that one should be in the else,
Okay.
inside the else, yeah. Yeah, sure, yeah. But that one now should be, okay, so.
Okay. So when you click, the word goes to the exactly position where it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
So what
then,
should be? Uh-huh.
the, then here in the if, then else, let's have a block which is forever, a control block forever outside the if, like the inside with the if else will be inside forever, yeah. Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Then
So,
now
mhm,
the
mhm,
the block in the else
mhm.
should have the same coordinate as the block after the green flag.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be now 56, 51. With that, now the code means if the answer is incorrect, it returns back to its initial position.
Oh, so can we test it?
Yeah, we can.
So, uh-huh. Okay.
Shift to
Okay.
presentation mode. Shift to presentation mode. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh. So if touching, okay, not moving. Okay. Uh-huh.
We were working on quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
Okay. Yeah. Fine.
We can now modify the code. Uh-huh. How can you go about it to modify it to, yep.
I think on the touching sprite two is the adverb box, right?
Yep.
Which is the correct answer. I think it's okay. Let's try running the code.
Okay. But
Shift
at the moment, we haven't. Okay. So
move the query to a adjective box. Move it inside. What?
we need to recheck our position to white. Okay. There.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you move it, it doesn't. But when you move it other position than the exact where the adverb is, it goes back to a random position. So we can also do it to the other words due to time. Uh, what do you think about the game for the first world that you have created? And now no, okay, we can now picture how this game will be at the end of it. So what do you think about it? You as a teacher, will it okay, you as my student at the moment, will it be able to differentiate which is an adjective and which is an adverb? What do you think actually literally about the game? I hope now you can imagine how the game will end like. You can unmute yourself or mute yourself. Fantastic. Thank you, Frederick. As a student, I've enjoyed the game. It's amazing from Naris. Thank you. So basically, this is just a simple. Let me share a game, just an example, like this one.
Daphne says, I'm learning too and I've enjoyed the game. Thank you, Daphne.
Can you all read the game? So let me play this one. I hope you all can see it.
Yes,
Just
we
at
can.
1 second, part of it. So the idea is they pick the adjectives and they keep them in the box. I hope so. Let us see. So, okay. So what's happening to our game? Just quickly, someone to just elaborate what they have seen or what they think the game is about. The ball is moving. True, actually, the ball is moving. Actually, what else is happening on our game? The box is collecting adjectives. Okay, what are adjectives in the game actually? Mhm. The ball is collecting adjectives and adding calls. Okay, so yeah, so our game basically is just collecting adjectives and if it's an adjective, it says adjective. So from the game, you can see shy, scary as part of the adjectives. And also, if it's not an adjective, it's a adverb, and it's just passing through, it's not entering through the adjectives. Okay. So with that, what do you come up with as a teacher? So let's now discuss the 4 P's that have come up when you're creating the game. The 4 P's here we have the project, peers, passion, and play. So for a project, creating the game, you as a teacher, you engage the student, come up with the game together. Start from brainstorming with the students, give them prompts, let them answer their questions, let them provide the idea, allow them to give what they imagine the game wants to be. And by the end of that, you have a product that you as a teacher and a student, you'll be able to enjoy. This applies to all the learning areas, environment within the class. Yes, so all the other option is you can start the project and allow the students be more creative and add more features or more themes into the games according to how they understand the concept. So for the peers is allow the kids to work in groups, like how you have worked together. I've gathered ideas from Brian, from Mike, from everyone within, and made our game together. So we all have different ideas, but how can you come up with those different ideas and make more fun when you're learning together? You share, then later on you can share and explore different areas together. So the other part is passion. Passion, as a teacher, tailor the game to student interest. Consider when they receive the game, will it be beneficial to them? Also think of a game in a more of a scenario related place. The other part of the 4 Ps we have play. As I said earlier, think play as not just as game or fun, but as an attitude that will be more engaging within the world, scenarios within your environment or the kids environment, which will be sparking curiosity, to try new things, to take risk, to experiment and explore within. As I conclude, uh, actually leverage on using Scratch as a tool in your class, not just for coding, but to promote creativity, deepen understanding for a specific concept you have in your class, or maybe a learning environment. And remember to think, okay, not to think, but remember to, as you're making the game or as you're going to play, how can you support now these types of plays, like using Scratch in our classroom, Scratch games to teach in class, to enable kids to grow as a creative learner. After the game, they'll be able to explore more, they'll be able to take risk and not discover it, but experiment other ways on how they can learn to differentiate between adjectives and adverbs. So through this, the kid will grow to be a problem solver and also have various ways for creativity. I take it back to Magdalene. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janice, for the wonderful presentation. We've really learned a lot. Personally, I didn't really think we can come up with a game that can differentiate adverbs and adjectives. Help me appreciate Janice in the chat box by reacting with your second best fruit as an emoji. Please help me appreciate Janice as you're preparing for the next session. In the chat, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would love us to go to the next session where we'll be covering discussions on what we have done. Janice has covered a process of coming up with a game that can be used to teach or to help students differentiate adverbs and adjectives, and has also covered the 4 Ps of creative learning. So at this juncture, I would love to welcome Lazarus to take us through the discussion. Kindly feel free to ask any question and to participate. Lazarus, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mickey. Please confirm that you can hear me. Wave, thumbs up, anything will do.
Okay, I can confirm I can hear you. Kindly react in the chat if you can get Lazarus.
If you can't hear me, you can also react. Okay, thank you so much, Maggie. Thank you so much, Janice. I've really enjoyed it. As a lover of play, as a lover of games, that was very much insightful, and I'm looking forward to see us finishing the game and having a chance to play the game myself. Okay, so we've heard so much about the 4Ps, so much about play, and the discussion that you're going to have now in the next few minutes is how we just bring this together, especially in the context of the classroom. Um, and I'm very much happy that we have so many of us who've interacted with Scratch, who understand it very well. And I would just like to hear from all of us, either through coming off mute or even in the chat, how can we use Scratch to make learning through play a reality in our classrooms? We've just seen a game that we've been able to come up right now. So what are some of the ways in which we can use Scratch to make learning through play a reality in our classrooms? Yeah, and we can also get to hear from your own experiences. Have you been able to do with Scratch so far? As a teacher in your class, as an educator, how, just following from you had, realize how much interconnected the 4Ps of creative learning are. That most of the time when you talk about play, you find yourself talking about peers because you can't really play alone and such. Thank you so much for that. Um, if I may, for the interest of time, some of the few ways that we've been able to even bring about here, a good example being game-based learning, where we've had an educational game um, where students are able to learn how to distinguish between adjectives and adverbs. Something very practical, something quite enjoyable, and they can do it by themselves. Another interesting way, which I like so much, is facilitating learners to create their own games. Yeah, and Scratch enables us to do this very well. And you cannot talk about this without talking about the aspects of things like peer review. Once they are able to create their own games, the children can play each other's games, learn from there, maybe see how they can improve on their own, the like. Another interesting thing that I like so much is interactive stories. Yeah, a story that takes you step by step, and you are able to maybe being asked a question about what you read, and from what you're clicking, going to the next page, Scratch has enabled that so well. And maybe the last thing I can mention at this point is group projects. So kids can also, the learners are able to learn through projects that they are able to create. They're able to enjoy the process and creating their own games through Scratch that are educational. Victor in the chat says by integrating Scratch in the classroom, it improves interactivity and creativity among learners. Yeah, and I believe all, if not most of us here, have had that chance in particular to explore that. Thank you so much, Rajab. You talk about STEAM integration, art and music. Integrate art and music by having students create animations and musical compositions in Scratch. This helps them understand artistic and musical concepts in a playful manner. Thank you so much. And I'm loving the fact that you're bringing about the aspect of art and music, because most of the time when people think about Scratch, they think about coding, programming, science, full stop. But I'm happy with the aspect of STEAM. Frederick Odhiambo, when teaching music, they can draw the musical instrument and record their best songs. Well, I would actually like to see this, Frederick. It's so nice. Thank you. And Brian, as an education technologist, I've been able to help 400 plus primary and secondary teachers in Northern Kenya to come up with fun interactive simulations, games and animations which they use in delivery of their lessons to help learners grab complex concepts, especially STEM subjects, in an easier, fun way. I can say it's a good tool to use. And yeah, thank you so much, Brian, for that. And we are actually seeing practical ways, and these are the ones which have been applied to do this. Thank you so much for that. And I think at this point we can move to the next one. Maggie? Okay, so when it comes to play, one of the aspects that we come across is, yes, it's wonderful. Kids are able to learn, kids are able to enjoy. But how do we assess the students? How can we tell whether they're progressing? So in what ways can we assess student learning and progress when using Scratch to incorporate play in the classroom? Yeah. In what ways can we assess student learning and progress when using Scratch to incorporate play in the classroom? We know of the traditional ways where someone will do an exam and we can tell whether or not they grab the concept. But how can we do this in Scratch if by incorporating play?
Victor says by viewing their interactivity. Thanks, Victor. Jenny says through project sharing in class.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Though I'm still particularly interested in seeing how can we gauge interactivity, but I understand by how much they're engaged and they're able to, let's say, answer or follow through what you're saying. That's nice, Victor. Through project sharing in class, yeah, we have the aspect of project-based learning and peer review again. Yeah. Any other? Continue to think. Maybe just a few I can mention at this point. We've talked about the point from Janice about project sharing. Yeah. What about a case where we have learners present their projects from the class? A teacher can easily see from the project, did they really grasp the concept? Having another aspect would be setting guidelines that can be used to check and see if truly the concept that is being taught has been applied there. And I'm also keen about the alignment with CBC objectives. We find that maybe you are teaching a course in programming, and one of the things that they need to do is loops. And maybe from the project that they share, you see, wow, they needed to do loops, and they're able to do that. Yeah, the aspect of peer review comes along, and if, let's say, it allows you have digital portfolios where kids can be able to have their own digital portfolios where you can track their progress in what they're making. And let's not forget, again, the interactive projects where kids are tested on their problem solving based on those specific concepts. And yeah, I'm seeing Rajab in the comment section saying teacher observation, observe students as they work on Scratch projects, noting their engagement, problem solving strategies, and collaboration with peers. Nice. Rubrics. Develop rubrics or criteria for evaluating Scratch projects and involve the students in co-creating these assessment tools to clarify expectations. Thank you so much, Rajab. And I especially like this part where you talk about involving students in co-creating the assessment tools for clarity, yeah, clarifying the expectations. And it's very key. And I see how engagement with the students at this particular point helps them to even understand better what they intend to do. And it's very much aligns with what we are discussing here. At this point, I'll just like to show you something very quickly. Oh, can't share my screen. It's okay. It's okay. And I would just like us to remember the game that was played. When we looked at the score that was there, you see maybe there was a maximum score that was supposed to be attained. Maybe for someone who was able to collect all the adjectives, they would have been able to get a score of 200. So if you see a kid getting 200 or 100, it gives you a clear idea about the learner's understanding, or maybe if there's anything more that can be done to the game so that they can better understand this. Frederick Odhiambo says, through their groups, award the outstanding group and allow them to showcase their project. Yeah, this can't be stressed enough. Enabling the students to showcase what they've been able to do will go a long way in being able to understand their student learning and progress. I will still continue to welcome all this as we move on to the next section. Though my parting shot will be the application of Scratch is only limited by our imagination. Thank you so much, Maggie. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Lazarus. And you can see we're running out of time. We spent a lot of time. So I would love to have this session question and answer. Kindly, if you'll be sharing your questions in the feedback form. We are sharing the feedback form in a few. Victor, kindly help me share the feedback form in the chat. Okay. Um, and I want to talk about the resources that you're offering. So we have learned about Scratch, we've learned about Plain Classroom. So Scratch, as we mentioned, is a platform that we can use to teach play. So EduTab offers resources, one of them being EduTab Golan, which is an app where you can access the Scratch course, or you can go to our eCampus and access the Scratch course from there. Yes, and please feel free to share feedback in the form and follow our social media handles for any updates on the upcoming webinars on Scratch. Otherwise, I would love to thank you so much for attending today's webinar, being part of today's webinar. See you next time. Yeah, make sure you also fill the feedback form. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye.